going on today, people? It's the Base Lord TJG back with another kind of short video. This is just a video on Zombie World. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about the card, and I have some replays, and I just want to talk about some things about it. So here's the deck I've been using with it right now. It's been pretty good. I've been getting a lot of wins with it. Zombie World, as I'll discuss, there's certain good things to it and certain bad things to it. But overall, this deck I think has been doing really well because it functions really well with Red Eye Zombie Dragon. So I'm just going to read the description and I'm going to start playing some replays I'm going to talk about during the same time. So all monsters on the field and in every graveyard become zombie-type monsters. Neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombie-type monsters. So just to get into some of the replays, I'm going to be talking about the pros first and then the cons, and I'm not going to be playing these in any particular order. So some of these have happened over the last couple days, some of them different times, but basically the important things to know for the pros with Zombie World are that it hurts opposing non-zombie type decks. So a good example for this would be Dino decks. So they no longer get the boost from Dinosaur World or Jurassic World or whatever the card is. I don't remember exactly the name of it, but from their Dinosaur skill, they are not going to get the boost from that. So they're all going to lose their 300 attack bonus, which may let you get over some things if they don't have Mirror Wall. You can get over the Hydrogeddons with your Gazukis now and things like that. So it is really good against those kind of decks. It's hard to find other ones besides Dinos to think of that are really good. I know another good thing to talk about is Rare Metalmorph. No longer can be activated in Ancient Gear decks because all the monsters are zombie type. This one I want to specifically talk about because Treeborn tribute decks are not very common anymore, but I did run into this one on the ladder, and it basically shuts down my opponent the second I get out Zombie World, and from there they're just not going to be able to get over any of my monsters because they're not going to be able to tribute anything using their Treeborns. And I looked at the deck afterwards, it was this weird hybrid between tributes with like Archfiend, Monarch, or whatever, and Phoenix and all this other stuff, and it didn't look super good. But still, the fact that there was a Treeborn deck on the ladder right when I had Zombie World, it was pretty convenient. So another thing I want to talk about, well, besides the killing tribute decks, such as this, is that it's really good Storm fodder. So in a lot of these decks, like you see I have the Storm, if I really wanted to, if my opponent was playing more back row, because you don't play a whole lot back row in Treeborn decks, you really just have your Econs and things like that. But against more back row heavy decks, you can Storm fodder that away. So say your opponent has 3 full back row, you get to play the Storm, you activate that. It's pretty much the same thing I said in my last video on Wasteland. So pretty much if you don't need Wasteland, you get to Storm it away, and then you get to attack. One thing I forgot to mention about Wasteland versus Beatdown, ultimately I think Beatdown is the better skill because Beatdown is just better, gives you that larger attack raise, as I said in my last video. But the one thing I didn't talk about that I meant to in the last video, sorry to detract from this point here, but I just want to make this statement because people in my Discord were talking about it. In the mirror match, you will almost always win, unless you are in any sort of situation where you have a bricked hand or your opponent just has some sort of incredible start and you just can't get things going. In this mirror match, Beatdown versus Straight to the Grave, you are both getting the Straight to the Grave boost, and your opponent will not be able to boost up with Beatdown because they don't have the skill. Therefore, you will almost always be winning the mirror match. Unless they're, yeah, like I said, just bad draws, or you're a bad player, or they're an amazing player, or something like that. Another last great thing I wanted to talk about that was super helpful for Zombie World, one of the key defining characteristics of why it'll be good in Red Eye Zombies decks, is that all monsters on the field become zombie type. So anything your Red Eye Zombie Dragon kills with by battle is now a zombie type, and they get instantly revived to your side of the field if you choose to. So say you're in that situation where I don't have this replay specifically, but also this was a mistake on my part. I should have econ to change the battle position, but my toggle was off. So what are you going to do? Looks like I'm going to lose here, but anyway, you'll see. So say you're in the position where you've got your Red Eye Zombie Dragon, they've got their Dakini on their side of the field, which won't be too much of a problem anymore, seeing as how the way Cyber Angels are going, but just for the example, they attack, you've got your Zombie World on the field, you pop a Mirror Wall, your opponent's monster gets destroyed, you get to take control of it, because that's just what Red Eye Zombie does. Anytime it destroys a it destroys a zombie type by battle. Just so I can read it, when this card destroys a zombie type monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field. So as long as it's a zombie type, which is great because of Zombie World, like you get to attack it and then you get to destroy it and then you get to special summon it, so it's great. Also, you just saw right there, It was great because I got to storm fodder I got to storm away all of his back row, which just let me had this clean take his entire board for my own. That's one of the key defining things on Red Eye Zombie mirror matches like this. You'll see you storm away your opponent's back row, you beat down over them so you're not getting destroyed. This is why Wasteland is just not nearly as good as beatdown for Red Eye Zombie Dragon. So now I want to talk about some of the cons, because those are all the really main pros of the zombie world. The biggest con, I think, to it is that it's a one-of, and I'm going to talk about something else before I talk about it being a one-of. The biggest con, I think, is that ritual and fusion summons can still occur because they don't count as tribute summons. So if this, like, ultimate definition of tribute, I think it should be that when you tribute a monster via ritual summon, it should count towards that, but when you tribute something from the hand, it doesn't count. So you can still tribute non-zombie type monsters for ritual summons, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, Cyber Angels would be hit so hard with this, and then people would be trying to run like Turbo Zombie World or things like that, trying to get out turn 1, even though it's not super possible, which I'll talk about. So it is a little bit unfortunate that the ritual summon works like that, but what are you going to do? Those are the rulings. And as you can see there, my opponent just can't get over anything, and that's it. Another thing is that, well, as I said before, it's a one-of, so I don't think you should build decks around it like that. I'll talk more about like specifics to this as we go on, but just know that I'm getting to a specific point here. It shouldn't be a critical part of your deck. You should not be building your deck around Zombie World because it's one-of and it's too inconsistent to get out. It is not a good enough effect to build a single deck around unless it had more defining characteristics to it, like a 500 attack boost to zombie types, or your zombie types or something like that. But it only works to make the field zombie types. So it's not an offensive card. It's not really a defensive card either. It's more just a balance card that may neuter your opponent's specific abilities. So this is the brickiest of brick hands here with 3 enemy controllers, but that's beside the point. As I said as well, you're gonna win this mirror match. So let's talk about why you can't build a deck around Zombie World. And I want to talk about that via some of the other field spells in the game right now, and why they're better than Zombie World for their specific decks. You've got, first off, Fire King Island. Now this isn't the most relevant card anymore, because Phoenix is not a super relevant deck type anymore, but considering Phoenix decks, you have the deck, which is you need your field spelled out. So you're restarting, you're pulling that. There's other ways to pull it. You've got Planet Pathfinder if you want that. You've got Fire King searches and things like that of that nature. There's easier ways to pull out your Fire King Island. And that you have 3 of them, it's going to be an easier thing to draw into. So it's not impossible to get out. You've got Mausoleum of the Emperor, another really popular card. You're not going to be Planet Pathfinding this out, but a lot of Destiny draw decks run this, so you're going to be able to pull it out in times that you'll need it, if you're boosting up your life points enough so that you can actually use it, of course. And it's got that 3 of consistency. Cards where you can obtain 3 of them, and you running 3 of them. Also, another time where my toggle was off, but it doesn't matter because I can win anyway. The 3 of mentality is just so important to it. And the last field spell I want to talk about, which is more up the alley of Zombie World, is Toon Kingdom. So this was a one-of card that all Toon decks pretty much run right now. And it's good because it's good to run that one-of, because the whole deck is centered around it, and it's got such an amazing effect where they're not going to be able to destroy or be targeted by your opponent's effects. So really the main reason why Toon Kingdom is so good as a one-of in the deck is because in Toon Kingdom decks, of course, it allows you to special summon all your Toon monsters, and normal summons aren't super important in Toon Kingdom decks. So you can normal summon your Planet Pathfinder, and then special summoning your Toon Dark Magician Girl and Toon Mermaid and things like that. That's all fine. Whereas in Zombie World decks, the best one, of course, being Red Eye Zombie Dragon, the only special summons you're really going to be having are special summoning out things via Red Eye Spirit and via Gazuki's effect and things of that nature. You're really dependent on your normal summon, your tribute summon, things like that, for bringing out your Zombie Dragons, your Gazukis, your Samurai Skulls, etc. So having a one-of like that, like having Planet Pathfinder is what I'm getting at. If you want to normal summon Planet Pathfinder, you're going to be giving up on your opposing normal summon, which is fine because there's situations, this deck runs a lot of back row, there's situations where you'll only have the Planet Pathfinder and you'll be able to get the Zombie World, and then you'll be able to Spirit and Insight and things like that. or you brick and then you only have your bacon saber, things like that in your starting hand. So there are situations in which it would be nice to have the Planet Pathfinder. And if you can see here, I bluffed pretty nicely because I also I waited a long time before the end of the main phase, before the battle phase, because I wanted to seem like I had a mirror wall when really I just had the spirit, so we could take care of that. And this is the easiest way, I think. This is important to also get around Beast Rising with this kind of deck, is you get 2 on the field, and you need to attack something that hasn't been 3-star demotion. 3-star demotion is getting nerfed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But these are the main reasons why I think that Zombie World is not a good enough spell card to really have a deck focused around it. It's a good one up in these decks, as I've talked about. And yeah, it's Planet Pathfinder isn't good in these decks because you're so reliant on normal summoning, as I've said. And another thing, just once we get, if we get, there's a spell card that adds a field spell to your hand, Terraforming. Once we get Terraforming, I think, and if we get more Zombie Worlds, field spells are going to be so much better. So that's what I gotta say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll be reading these probably. Yeah, and let me know if there's any other videos you want me to do in the future. I'll take a look at those. So thank you all for watching. This is the Jewish Giraffe, signing out.